everyone to the Barely News Crew. I'm your host here as always, Alexis, and I am back for another movie review. Today we are discussing the 17th animated feature by Pixar Studios. This is the sequel to 2003's Finding Nemo, Finding Dory. Directed by Andrew Stanton, co-directed by Angus MacLane, starring Ellen DeGeneres as Dory, Albert Brooks as Marlin, Ed O'Neill as Hank, Ty Burrell as Bailey, Caitlin Olsen as Destiny, Eugene Levy as Charlie, Diane Keaton as Jenny, and Hayden Rollins as Nemo. Finding Dory takes place exactly 1 year after the events of Finding Nemo. Not 13 years, like some other people had to wait for this movie. Dory hits her head, she remembers she has a family, and off we go to find her parents. I adored and loved this movie. Finding Nemo was absolutely one of the most memorable and worthwhile movie experiences I've had at a theater in my entire life. As fate would have it, the first viewing experience of Finding Dory, however, was one of the worst experiences of my entire life. And I won't get into it here because it's just not the proper place for it. But if you want to catch that raw anger that I had that night, along with my good friend Kyle Lira, please check the link down below. Red Spotlight Entertainment After Dark of Finding Dory. Guarantee you it is worth a look at. We gotta give a lot of props to Pixar for doing what they did. They took a comic relief used character in Dory and turned that on its head, as Dory becomes not only the center focus of the story, but an emotional resonance that is truly the core of this film. And our story becomes even more tragic than we possibly could have imagined. I really feel that this story is one that was worth telling. It was not only emotional, but at times it was just truly inspirational. When we meet Dory's parents, we get a peek inside a parent's life who may have a disabled child. The majority of us will never understand what that feels like, but for those of us who do, I really felt that this movie really spoke to them in a really profound way. Needless to say, I really feel Dory was transformed into a brilliant lead that perhaps people weren't expecting. People were very nervous if she could hold her own movie, and I'm proud to report that she did, and then some, because of her character, but also of the people they surround her with. Obviously, Marlin and Nemo are back from Finding Nemo, and as you would imagine, they are pushed aside somewhat because this movie does focus on Dory, but I really love how their presence in this movie does not feel shoehorned in any way. Their story and their journey in this movie really also propels Dory's overall arc, and it really helps us realize something, that because Marlin and Nemo in this movie, we are realized a truth that was in Finding Nemo that we didn't previously appreciate. Probably the breakout star of this film had to be Ed O'Neill's Hank, which I'd have to say I relate to on a personal level because I have known to be very cranky. You have Dory as someone who always forgets everything that happens in her lives, and she's just trying desperately to just find clues of who she was. And then you have Hank, someone who'd rather forget every little thing, be as far away from anyone as possible, and just be left alone. Commend Pixar for putting these two just foils of each other. For whatever reason, it just worked. I never really seen a movie utilize flashbacks in this fashion, and I have to say it may be the best I've seen so far. At no point did they feel distracting or did they disrupt the pace of this movie. It all just was warranted, to tell you the truth, and it really just helped with the whole unique style of this film. Finding Nemo was a technological achievement as far as animation. That thing looked unreal because of how real it looked. You can definitely tell how much animation has grown in the 13 years since Nemo was released, and the water is just so beautiful and so crisp. And the music is to die for. Thomas Newman came back to compose the music from Finding Nemo. I have found myself to be obsessed with this score. It is enchanting, it is mysterious. I loved every minute of the third act because I didn't see it coming. I think what I appreciated most about that, these little elements that they spread throughout the film, they find a way to weave it all together, throw it at you all at once, and just be shocked at how great it all worked out. The only sin this movie has is that it's not Finding Nemo. And it doesn't have that Nemo magic in the sense that it's an instant classic. But I feel that it has its own magic, its own Dory magic. A compelling narrative that can stand on its own, side by side to Finding Nemo. It may even do things better than Nemo. I found the movie to be funnier than Nemo and at times more emotional than Nemo. I think what really matters is This movie on its own is a great film. This movie makes you love Finding Nemo so much more, and it adds so many more layers and dimensions to Nemo that you didn't think possible. In the end, you have a movie and a story that I will just say is unforgettable. Thank you guys so much for watching another movie review here on the BNC. Please let me know what you thought of Dory and Nemo and any of the other movies that we've reviewed. And until next time, I'm your host here as always, Alexis. And this is the Barely News crew, the place for all things movie news and reviews.